corridors want to see as the caretaker Prime Minister. The opposition leader and Prime Minister is to deliberate on the caretaker Prime Minister nominees today, and the Federal Cabinet and the National Assembly, Senate and the joint session of Parliament has been called today. Now, top political leadership is also to meet today to finalize the caretaker setup and the upcoming elections. The Pakistan Army Chief is to meet Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Asif Zardari to discuss the current situation of the country. Hafiz Sheikh, Jalil Abbas Jalani and Tariq Bajwa are among the top contenders for the caretaker Prime Minister. And Pakistan National Assembly dissolution summary is to be moved today as well. Now, these are all the information that we are getting from our top sources. There is a deadlock on the caretaker Prime Minister and the name continues in the power corridors. So, this is the particular information that we are getting regarding the next caretaker Prime Minister of Pakistan, and who will it be? That remains the main question right now. We've heard that the opposition leader and the Prime Minister are to deliberate on the caretaker Prime Minister nominees today, and among the top contenders, the three names that have come up are Hafiz Sheikh, Jalil Abbas Jilani and Tariq Bajwa. And the Pakistan Army Chief is to meet Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Asif Zardari to discuss the current situation of the country. Remember, Pakistan currently is going through quite an economic crisis and their security situation is also grim. So these are the two major issues that they have been looking at, and this will also have an effect on planning as to when the election will take place and who will the next caretaker Prime Minister be. And the top political leadership are to meet today to finalize the caretaker setup and the upcoming elections. Now, we have CNN News 18's Anand Narsimhan joining us. Anand, a very good morning to you. Well, firstly, what is the situation right now when it comes to the contenders for the caretaker Prime Minister of Pakistan? Is there a deadlock? And if yes, what exactly is it about?
To agree on the names, as I say, good morning to you, Shreya, and to all our viewers here at CNN News 18. In Pakistan, point is that the current government came into place, or the term of this government, although the regime is changed, came into place around the 12th of August 2018. So 3 days before that, if they have decided to call elections ahead of term, just 3 days, then it just clearly shows that there is perhaps an inclination to get the elections done in the next 90 days. One of the conditions perhaps which has been coming from the international fraternity, even including the IMF, that there have to be elections and there have to be a properly elected government in place before any other dole or any other financial help is given. And also the mandate of the people has to be respected. There is also pressure on the military establishment to show that this is not a propped up government which is being run by the military deep state, and that there is a certain civilian element to it. The other part is that with Imran Khan now temporarily out of the equation, him being detained and then also being suspended, these are all conversations that were coming through whether Imran Khan will be actively allowed to participate in the elections. The whole rumors of the Election Commission of India, Pakistan sacking him as the chief, and then the Election Commission coming out and saying, no, we've not taken any such step. But clearly he is under the scrutiny of the law. In the meantime, there is also the commitment that's being shown by the PDM that they are wanting to, that is the current government, the opposition, the erstwhile opposition coalition, which is saying that no, we want to conduct the elections. Amidst all of this, there are multiple conversations that are happening. There are 7 people who are, including a few retired justices also, who are part of that nominations list. Tasaddiq Hussain also makes that list, along with the 2 or 3 names that you have already taken. Overall, there are 7 names. So who do we agree on? Because it's a coalition of multiple parties. So whose name is everybody agreeable on? And the army chief will be part of this conversation. The Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif will be part of this conversation. Fazlur Rahman will be part of the conversation. Asif Ali Zardari will be part of this conversation, and they will all be sitting together in a huddle to decide on this name. And that decision has to be taken sometime today. More importantly, this agreeable name, this caretaker Prime Minister, will be under who the entire process of election will be conducted. There are certain provinces also which need to see elections happen, and there is also the National Assembly elections which have to be conducted in Pakistan. And more importantly, along with the political parties, the military has to be agreeable to this name, because largely the forces will want a huge say and stake in these elections. It also puts an interesting spin into things ahead of G20, because if there is a caretaker prime minister, does that mean that it will not be Shehbaz Sharif, but the caretaker prime minister who will come for the G20 visit into India? That's another question. The other thing is, will the military agree to conduct elections at this time, or will they cite cost concerns or some other concerns to try and delay the elections? So is there a double play that is going on? On the one hand, the PDM and the civilian government postures that it is ready to conduct the elections. Meanwhile, the military deep state or military establishment turns around and says, sorry, now it's not the right time, we got to delay it. So we'll have to see how things play out, because there are multiple conversations or multiple news reports that are emanating from Pakistan. Right now, at least from the civilian government's point of view, they want to sit together, put their heads and arrive at a caretaker prime minister under whose aegis the elections will be conducted, and the caretaker prime minister's tenure will begin latest by the 12th of August 2023. So how things pan out, we'll have to wait and watch. And what happens with the cabinet, who has powers to devolve or duties and also dispense duties. We'll have to see what decisions are being taken. But if Shehbaz Sharif is going to step aside, then that name, whoever is replacing him there, has to be somebody who has the confidence of almost all parties and, more importantly, the military establishment.
Right, Anand. Thank you so much for all those details. And right now, we also have joining us on this broadcast security analyst Patikrit Bain. Mr. Bain, a very good morning to you. Well, what we are learning right now is the fact that there are 7 contenders and 3 of these names have come up repeatedly, which is Hafiz Sheikh, Jalil Abbas Jalani and Tariq Bajwa. So now there seems to be a kind of deadlock regarding the particular nominees that have been named right here. And so how are we looking at the situation, given that there have been multiple meetings that have taken place internationally for this particular situation? Are we looking at a particular caretaker prime minister, and who might it be for Pakistan?
Good morning. So the candidate has to be a consensus candidate between the deep state of Pakistan, which is Rawalpindi, the Pakistan Army, and Pakistan Muslim League and Pakistan People's Party. So, a contender who would not have any political aspiration of his own, and who would at the same time would have certain amount of experience in administration. The reason is simple. Even when elections get declared in Pakistan, as to whether it would happen on the declared date, that is always a question mark. And things change so fast in Pakistan that even a caretaker prime minister has to be somebody who would be able to deal with situations, even though invariably he would be taking instructions from people sitting or remote controlling him. Whether it is about negotiations with the IMF or whether it is about deteriorating situation with Afghanistan due to the Tehrik-e-Taliban issue. So they would prefer somebody who has a certain level of administrative expenditure, but at the same time who would not have any aspiration or political aspiration anymore of his own. He would just move on, when he's told to just move on. The question, however, it is as to whether after return of Nawaz Sharif, whether Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League would continue the coalition. The chances are very high that they would, for the time being, on the presumption that Pakistan Tehrik-e-Insaf still remains a very major challenge, even though Imran Khan continues to be, out of contention for the time being. But the fact that Imran Khan has a persistent ability of springing surprises, I think it's still, again, a little too premature to presume that the coalition of Pakistan Tehrik-e-Insaf and Pakistan People's Party would have a smooth run or a cakewalk in the election. Right. So I think it's a very evolving situation. Most of the time we have seen that things change drastically in Pakistan. So whether the contender the caretaker prime minister would be one among the 7, 8 candidates
Right.
which have been shortlisted, or
Right.
somebody new that Pakistan People's Army wants. That we have to see.
Absolutely, Mr. Pine. Thank you for joining us.